1400 years ago, armies of nomads swept out of the Arabian desert and conquered half the world. Today, their descendants tell an extraordinary story. They say that God sent them a prophet, Muhammad, and that God then gave them an empire. But is it really true? Not everyone is so sure. The Muslim conquests were one of the most decisive events in history. But were the Arabs in the 7th century even Muslims at all? My name's Tom Holland. I'm a historian. I write about ancient empires, so Persian, Greek, Roman empires. And now I want to write about the most influential of all the ancient empires, the empire founded by the Arabs in the 7th century, the empire that gave us Islam. I thought that it would be a relatively simple matter. It's been said that Islam was born in the full light of history. But when I began on the project, I discovered that that wasn't actually the case at all. When it comes to Islam's beginnings, there is no full light of history, only a kind of darkness. And when you start looking, everything seems up for grabs. From the beginning, I felt like I was being sucked into a black hole.
The problem of writing the history of the rise of Islam is that we have absence of evidence, and we have nothing on which to tell a story.
I had expected Muslim testimony from the 7th century, but there's nothing there. I can't find anything. There's a problem here. You're delving into the origins of Muslims' deepest beliefs, but where is the historical evidence?
Sometimes the belief of the believer and the understanding of the scholar cannot be squared.
It's a choice between doing history and not doing history. And so I do the history even though it may hurt people.
You have to say things that believers don't say, things that sometimes shock believers, things that sometimes make them very angry.
There's a sense of the detective story about it. Why do most of the clues seem to be missing? When the Romans conquered the Middle East, they left behind all kinds of evidence, histories, inscriptions, coins. But with the Muslim conquest, silence. What can we actually say about Muhammad? What do we really know about the origins of Islam? Where to begin? Well, maybe we should start at the beginning of the 7th century. It is 5 minutes to midnight, and the ancient world is about to change forever. This is Istanbul. In 632, it was Constantinople. For 300 years, the capital city of the Roman Empire. A Christian city at the heart of a Christian world. A universal religion for a universal empire. That was the Roman recipe for power. an idea fully appreciated by the Muslims when, almost 1,000 years later, they conquered the city and turned the largest cathedral in Christendom into a mosque. We know how and when the Romans became Christian because contemporaries tell us all about it. But what we don't know is how the Arabs became Muslim. Take a journey into the past, and you can't be certain where it's going to end. History is like a labyrinth. Once you're inside, who knows where it may lead? So here we are, the great palace of the Roman emperors of Christian Constantinople. Odd to think that at the start of the 7th century, when Muhammad was still alive, this was pretty much the centre of the world. There's one awful poetry about the fact that all you've got here is splintered firewood. Because what this is something that's been smashed to smithereens, and what it preserves just the faintest trace of is what was at the time the hub of the greatest power on the face of the earth. So this is the White House, it's where the emperor lives, it's the Pentagon, it's the heart of the defense establishment, it's the Supreme Court, it's where laws are drawn up and made and issued, all in this one place that dominates Constantinople, the city of Constantine, the first Christian empire, the greatest city in the world. And now it's all gone. And it's in some bloke's garden. You've got the road on the one side, you've got the train on the other. And the only thing to be seen is a cat. By 630, the Roman Empire had just overcome the worst crisis in its history. Its old enemies, the Persians, had overrun its fairest provinces. Persian troops had reached the very walls of Constantinople itself. Then, after 25 years of war, the Persians were defeated. The Roman Emperor was, once again, master of the universe. At such a moment, how could he have had any conceivable idea of the ruin that the heavens had in store for him?